Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Trupti here. I'm from Vinces. So welcome to Vinces. And as you all know that today we are gathered here, though it is Sunday. We have gathered here for making the understanding and finding out a roadmap for the Excel workshop that we have decided to go through and learn topics with respect to handling Excel fluently, working with different calculations, formulas, charts, pivots, everything about whatever we need in day-to-day activities when we are working with Excel for calculations as well as for analyzing the data which is stored inside our Excel files. Okay, so I hope we have everyone here. Let me introduce myself. Like I have told you, my name is Trupti, and I'm into this training for almost 18 years now. And I have been conducting workshops for Excel for multiple companies. I'm panel trainer for SBI card. I do conduct trainings for different product based companies as well as some software companies. I also conduct trainings for different databases. I'm Oracle certified. I'm also Accenture certified trainer. And also I conduct trainings for different BI technologies like Power BI, which is like, the extension of Excel only, wherein you will get to know many features of Excel inside Power BI. Also, I conduct trainings for different databases like SQL Server, MongoDB, and some NoSQL databases also. Yes, so it was a brief introduction about myself, and now we can have a conversation about um, what I would like to know what type of audience I have with me so that we can decide our path of discussion, and then accordingly we can settle down to the list of topics which everyone is comfortable with, and then we can follow that path, right, Sanji?
Yes, ma'am.
So how many of us are here right now?
Hello.
Yes.
Hmm. So, ma'am, please you start your introductory session and also.
Yes, definitely. I'm going to start my session.
Hmm.
So, what I want to know is about, what is the comfort level of all the participants with respect to Excel, and what is the end effect of the course that they will be looking at.
Yes, ma'am.
So, can you please tell me that are you do you want to go through a course wherein you want to start with the uh, basic, intermediate, and advanced, or should we or are we looking at only the certification specific course contents? How is the requirement that I would first want to know?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So, we are already sent all details our
Yes.
participants. Okay.
Yes.
So, you can start your session. Okay. How we are conducting is the 24, 25 hours. Okay. So, your topic and your all details of the sessions. Okay. All classes.
Okay. So fine. So what I will do right now is I'll start with the introductory part. Then I will give you an over idea about the intermediate part, and then what towards the end of the course what we are looking at. all doing. So
Yes.
right now I will give you an idea about how the course I conduct
Yes.
generally,
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
fine. So I'll share my screen with you now. I hope my screen is now visible to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, good. So I am going to uh, start with some basic concepts first, so that we will get comfortable with what uh, we do. And if at all anyone is not comfortable with it, please stop me and ask me if you have any doubt or anything that you want me to repeat, so that I can just don't just go ahead with doubts in your mind. Okay, fine. So this is my whiteboard where I'll be writing all these things. So what we are learning right now is about topics of Excel. So initially I'll start with the introduction part of the Excel. So basically, we use MS Office for multiple purposes, right? Different office related activities we perform using different applications. So, for example, if I have to provide a documentation to someone, what I do is I take help of the Word documents. In one Word file, we have multiple pages, correct? Instead of that, if I want to present something in a meeting to someone, then I go for a PowerPoint presentation. If I have to store the data in some fashion, like it may be a tabular, columnar, or row wise format, and then I want to perform some calculations on that data, and then create the reports over it, then the best possible way to handle the data is nothing but the Excel part, right? Wherein the major intention behind using it is creating workbooks for storing the data, and then calculations based on the data to make the reusable data for all the users. Okay, so here we do not say that I have Excel file, right? What we say is that I have Excel workbook. So now every time we should say that I'm using a workbook instead of every time I say I'm using Excel file. Just like Word document has multiple pages, in workbook we have multiple worksheets, correct? So you can add a worksheet, you can delete a worksheet, or you can rename a worksheet, whatever you want to do with it, you can do. Now, each worksheet is made up of the columns and row, that is in the form of a tabular format, that is row and column. Correct. So what we look at here, you must be using these types of workbooks with multiple worksheets in it, right? Now, it's a very typical Microsoft environment that we use, wherein I will highlight my mouse pointer so that you will come to know where I'm pointing. Okay. So you can see wherever I'm pointing right now. All of these, they are different types of tabs that you can see. And then each tab has a ribbon where my mouse pointer is. So these tabs have ribbon like structures wherein all the options with respect to that particular tab are provided, right? So initially we store the data in every document or in every worksheet, and then after that we can use a lot of formatting on it, we can use a lot of calculations on it, right? So for example, I have the data in this fashion with me, okay, wherein it's a typical orders data that we use. Okay, so I have got order date, then the region, then the representative who have sold that or taken up that order, the items, which products were sold, and the units and the price of each item. So this is the a very typical data of any orders that are placed, right? Now, sorry, whenever you're talking about any Excel sheet, see, when you have this work, any Word document, when you start typing, there is always this black line which keeps on blinking. That is called as a cursor, right? So it's a current active area from where you can start typing. Similarly, whatever you are looking at here right now, this black rectangle, the highlighted rectangle, this is called as the active cell. That means whenever I'll start typing, it starts typing from this point onwards. Correct? And whatever you are typing or whatever value that you are looking at, you will always find that value here. That is in the formula bar. Okay. So if you want to perform any calculations on the data that you have stored, then you can use the formula bar to write a specific calculation for a formula. Or if you don't want to write the formula on your own, you can use this insert function option to apply a formula on a specific cell or range of cells. Okay, so I'm going to come to this part later on in our discussion, because before that also we are going to discuss a few things, right? Now, the most important thing when it comes to Excel is about this part of Excel file, that is a name box. Many a times we do need this name box for many calculations or creating named ranges if you have used. If you have not, definitely I'll tell you that. And then this basically stores the reference of the sale. Let's say I want to jump to the X column 200th record. So I can simply type X200 and press enter. So you can see that it will take me to that specific cell directly where I want to go to instead of scrolling left, right, up, down. Correct? So a name box is a useful uh, tool in the worksheet to jump or to navigate through a specific value. Okay. And if I say A1 cell, it always takes me to the first cell of the record. Now, whenever I want to navigate, I can use some shortcut keys. Okay. I have a list of such documents. Maybe in the training, I'll share those documents with you. So for example, I'll just give you a glimpse of it here. So I'm creating one documentation here like this. Okay, so these are different hotkeys or shortkeys, we call it as, wherein we can help work faster instead of going to the option and working with it. So this document it is in the making. Once it is done, I will be able to share this with you. Okay, and then if at all I want to move to a specific value, control plus down arrow key, it takes me to the last column value in that column. Control plus up arrow key, it will take me to the first record of that column. Then control plus right arrow key, it takes me to the last column of the table. Okay. So this is how you can scroll or navigate to the data that you want to go to. Okay. If at all you are somewhere here in your worksheet, whenever you want to go to the first cell, you can simply press Control and Home. That will take you to the first column and record of that value. So in due course, you will explore such shortcut keys, and I'll also keep on telling you so that your work will become faster and easier instead of clicking here and there, right? Okay. Now the topic that I'm going to discuss with you right now is called as freeze panes. Is called as freeze panes. Now, this is very much useful when you are dealing with a large amount of data. Okay, so generally we have many columns and many rows in our worksheet, and then we are entering the data, or we are scrolling towards left or the right of the data. At that time, these freeze pens, they help you a lot. Okay, so let us understand how to use them. Now you can see that this, whatever I have highlighted here right now, this is my column heading, correct? Now I am right now in the second row. But if I scroll down, if I keep on scrolling down, after scrolling down a bit, you can see that my header row is lost because it has gone up, it has scrolled up, correct? And now I am a bit confused as to what are these values, the one that I have highlighted. Are these quantities? Are these rates? Are these units sold? Or is this the tax value? I am not able to recollect or remember that. Correct. So if you want to keep flashing your column heading constantly, then you can freeze the topmost record or the topmost row of your table. Okay. Am I audible? Everyone, can you
Yes,
please
ma'am.
reply? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Yes. So what I was saying is I want to have a look at this specific header row all the time. So for that, what I can do is I can go to my table. I mean, I can click anywhere in my table, and you can see that um, here under the home and data tools. Ah, under view, we have this freeze panes option. Okay, so when I'll go here, I have got some three options here: freeze panes, freeze top row, and freeze first column. Right now I want to see all the headers, so I can go here and talk about freeze top row. Okay, when I click when I click upon this freeze top row, now you can see this black line has appeared or the first row in the Excel sheet. Now, what is the impact of this? Okay, let us understand. When I'm scrolling down, when I keep on scrolling down, now you can see I am right now at 11th record. Okay, but when I'm still scrolling down, my header row, that is order date, representative, units, units price, this is not gone. Correct? So this is an advantage of freezing a specific column or a specific row. So this is about freezing first row. Now, sometimes what we want to do is if I'm scrolling to the right, then I am losing my record. So for example, if my first row is, let's say, if I'm saying months, okay, then this is the region in which the sale is done. Okay, and maybe this is the amount which is sold, and then this is the quantity that is in hand. Okay, so let's say I have some, I will not waste time in typing. Okay, this is my data. So this is west region, this is south region, this is central region, and south region again. So okay, so this is suppose my data. Now what happens is, let's say I'm talking about the first column, and for this first column, this entire information is based on my months column. Now, imagine that right now you can see that there are only 3 columns. But what if there are 25 odd columns? Then, in that case, if at all I scroll towards the right of my table, then I lose the information of my columnar data. Correct? So I do not know that this amount 1000 is it for January or February or for March. Correct? So in that case, we can also feed the first column. So you can select anywhere in the table, and then under view tab, you have this freeze panes, and then you have this option of freezing first column. So you can go to freeze first column, and now you can see that this black line has appeared before the column that is freezed. Now if I scroll towards my right, you can see the months column is constant. So it may be like names of employees or serial number or roll number, any column for which I am doing this activity or performing some calculations. This vertical data can remain consistent when you feed that particular column. Okay. So now you might be thinking that, okay, I can freeze a column or I can freeze a row. But what if I want to freeze in between values? Are you getting my point? In between values means what? Suppose I have information like this. This becomes my header record. Okay. But my header record is at different place. Let's say my table starts from this point onwards. And here I have, let's say, quarter one. So this becomes quarter one's summary. I think there is a delay here. Is it okay if I turn off my video, because then the bandwidth issue will not be there. Okay, fine. So and then I have the data which is starting from here, Jan, Feb, March, April, like this. Now I want this column or cell onwards the data to be freezed. So what I want is the freeze should start from this highlighted point onwards. Correct? That means I am in fifth record right now. So all starting from 1 to 4, these many should get freezed. And starting from A to B, these many should freeze, right? So first 3 columns should be freezed, and then first 4 rows should be freezed. And then the entry of the record will start from this point onwards. So now the problem is I cannot say freeze top row, or I cannot say freeze first column. In this case, I can do is freeze from a specific cell onwards, right? So which cell I am looking at right now, you can see it here in D5. From D5 onwards, I want to see the data. So whenever you want to freeze a pens, what you need to remember is you need to remember that record before and column before should be used. Okay, that means if you are looking at D4 column, then which cell value you should be freezing? You should be freezing D3. Okay, that means that value minus 1. So here my cell that I'm selecting is D5, correct? The highlighted one. So a column before D is C and a row before D is fourth row, correct? So a column before this and a row before this will get freezed. So let us understand. I am clicking on D5. So it means till C everything is getting freezed, and before D5 that means till 4 everything will get freezed. Fine. So I will select this particular cell. I will go to again view, and under freeze panes, the first option that I'm going to use, you can see that whenever I come to that particular option in Excel, every time it gives you a tooltip with respect to that particular option, so that you will come to know that what this option is used for. Now, when I click on it, you can see that this black line has appeared after these many rows and then after these many columns. Now, what is the advantage of this is, even if I scroll down, if I keep on scrolling down, all these first 4 rows are now available to me. Also, now I'll come to the top. Even if I scroll to my right, till months, first 3 columns are locked, correct? So you can freeze top row. I will just mention here what all things you can freeze here is, you can freeze the topmost row, or you can freeze the first column, or you can also freeze a record, that is a column as well as the row. You can freeze a column and a row starting from a specific cell, starting from a specific cell. Okay, so in that case you will have to give the cell address, make your active cell, and then before that cell all columns, before that cell all rows will get freezed, right? So this was one useful option that we can work with in Excel whenever you have a lot of data that you want to use for scrolling, right? Everything, e- everyone, please tell me, is this correct? I mean, should I go ahead with this if you have no doubts or
Ma'am,
any explanation? Huh,
hello. Ma'am,
yes.
this is the webinar session. Okay. So students are not interact to you directly. Okay. You can see the question answer. Okay. Students
Um,
are write down the question answer column. Okay. You can see the question answer.
I'm looking at it. Let's see.
This is ma'am.
Huh. Um, Schedule of the classes, I think it is yet to be decided, I guess. So that will come to you once this session is over. Um,
Yes, ma'am.
yes. Okay. Um, what else? Fine. So as such, I can see there is no specific question as such. Fine. Good. So I would take that as yes, and then I would go ahead. And in between, I'll keep on checking about the Q&A. And in case if there is anything, then definitely I will uh, uh, go ahead with that. Fine. Yes. So now we are going to go forward and talk about the next feature here, which is with respect to, let's say that I have the data with me and then I want to create a table for that specific data. Okay. So let's say I have this data here with me, and then I'll go to control home. Yes. Suppose this is the data that I have with me, but right now it is just entered haphazardly into my table. Okay, so it is in terms of rows and columns as such, but I want to have a proper table created for this particular data, isn't it? So what I can do is I can select somewhere in this uh, information of the data anywhere, and inside insert we have this option of creating a table. Okay, so where is that? Under insert we have this option of creating a table. So when I go to this particular table, if you have seen, by default it has selected the range for me, correct? So this particular table will on its own select a continuous range. If you have any other range, then you can, this is a line with the help of which you can choose the data. You can select, you can drag and drop, and that particular range will be selected for you. And this is a checkbox. My table has headers. So it automatically considers this first record as the header. If yes, then you can check this particular box. Right now it is already checked by default, and then I can click on OK, right? Now here your table is automatically created, and then you can apply different formattings to your specific table, and you can see that by default filter options are also applied. That means if you want to share your data, or if you want to filter your information, by default, the filters are applied to all the columns for their column headers. And then you can also provide a specific name to your table if required. Okay, so right now what is the name that uh, by default has come? You can see table name. By default this table is coming with a name as table 1. If I want, I can change this name. So I will say uh, office data. Office data is the name that I have given here, correct? So now you can see this adds as a range in this particular name box. Can you see office data? The moment I select office data, it will jump to this particular range. Suppose I am right now in sheet 3, okay, and I want to refer to that particular table. I want to always go back to that table. So like I have told you in the beginning only, that this name box is helpful for us for different types of navigation. So when I am going to the name box, if I go to this drop down, I can choose this office data, and it will take me to that specific table which is using information about office data. Correct? Now, you can see that tab, a new tab has introduced here. This will only come if you are using a table. For example, if I'm not using a table, let's say I'm inside this sheet 3. Do you see this table tab appearing here? No. It will only come when you are using that table. Okay. Now you can see it has gone to the table design. So if I come to this table design, there are many styles of a specific table that are available. So you can have your own style depending upon your requirement and the way you want your data to be. So let's say I'm using this style. Okay, turquoise blue and whatever data that I want. Now, not only this, if you want a filtration, you can have it. Otherwise, if you uncheck this, the filtration will go. Now, if you want banded, you can have the banded or you can have a plain table. It all depends upon your requirement. You can check the box. You can also have banded columns, alternative banded columns. But for me, what is more important in this case is you can see that there are two check boxes here. Total row is the what I can say important checkbox that I can see here. If I'm not checking this box, can you see at the end, is there anything? No, there is nothing, right? There's no grand total at the end. But if I say total row, then on its own, it will find the total price for it. Okay, and then it will highlight that particular row. So total, if you want to change its name, then you can change it. Now, if I don't want a total, I can choose any of these functions also. Like instead of total, I want to have the average of it. Then I can have average of it. If I want total, I can have a total for it. So it all depends upon how you want the data to. Okay. So let's say here, I want to have the highest value. I want to print the highest value of the units sold, or I want to see overall how many products or how many regions that was sent. So I will use count here. So 43 transactions, right? So if you want a total row, you can include it. Also, suppose I want to add a data here. Okay, so when I give a tab, immediately the table will get extended. Okay, so this table will keep on extending as you enter the data. So every time you do not have to select the entire range and then extend the table. Okay, it is smart enough to understand that. So I think these are some important aspects of using a table. And when you are using this particular data, you can also refer to this entire range with a name. Okay. For example, suppose we will be coming to this topic later on, but suppose I want to insert a pivot table. Okay. So I will go to the pivot table. Now, when I'm using a range, I can directly use a range here saying office data. Saying office data, and maybe in the new worksheet, I'll be able to create this particular table. Getting my point? So every time I do not have to select a range and then come to that particular range. I can directly refer to that name called as office data. And also you can see that by default, whenever you are creating a table, by default, the top row is freezed. So even if I'm scrolling down, the values, the header row remains consistent. I do not have to go to freeze panes and then say freeze top row, because now I have converted the data into a table, correct? And then you can change the formatting. If there are any earlier formattings to this particular table that you have chosen, then you can remove that as well. So I can go to format, and then I can clear that particular formatting for a specific. I mean, if there is any earlier formatting that you have done, you can clear it. Okay. So you can work with it. You can have different filtrations. We are going to come to filter, so I'm not explaining this right now. Okay, fine. So see, these are all the topics that in the discussion of any Excel I begin with, because many a times what happens that we say that we work with Excel every now and then, but in a crowd which is of a few people together, it becomes my responsibility to make sure that everyone has is aware of all the concepts. So it may happen that some of these concepts you may be aware of 80%, 90%, or 10%, 50%. So now you will be very much confident about those concepts because you will be doing them practically in your sessions. Okay. And then it's not only about me explaining. So it won't be like, you are watching a movie on the laptop. You just something, I'm talking, I'm giving you the demo, and then you are watching. It won't be like that. Okay. I will be sharing some sample data with every participant. Okay. I'll be sharing a mail with everyone wherein there will be some sample data files, and then for every topic I have some sample data files. So for each topic I will ask you to use that particular data, and then I will tell you steps for completing that demo, correct? For most of the topics that we will be discussing, I also have a step by step documentation. Means what? For example, I have opened here one file. There is this topic called as conditional formatting. Okay. So what I have done is I have created such documents in my course. So wherein there is some explanation about what that concept is doing. And then these are some screenshots that I have copy pasted in the document. So see, because it is a tool based training, correct? And because it is a tool based training, what happens is many a times you forget the steps, correct? Because there is a lot of times you have to click here, there, everywhere. So in that case, you can refer to this documentation. You can follow these steps that I have told, and then you will be able to come back on the track with respective topics scenarios. So I will be sharing such type of documentation. I'll be sharing the sample data files with you, and then I will also be working on the same files during my session so that my end results and your results both will be same, right? So that the learning becomes better. See, unless and until you do the demo or you perform the demo steps along with me, you will not have that confidence. So you will be working along with me. And then if anything that you come across that no, this is not clear to me, then definitely we will go through them all over again. Yes. Y- this is starting from basics, right? So agenda for today is about how this how I'm going to go through the training, how the explanation of the topics will be, okay, how I'll be conducting the course, and the information like I have shared you, that I'll be sharing some things with you, and then based on that I will be talking about the topics. Okay, so fine. I have a list of topics that that were decided uh, to previously. So what I can do is, okay, so uh, one question from my side is to all the participants. Yes. Uh, one question from my side to all the participants about are you all going to appear for Microsoft certification, or I mean, is it Excel certification that you are going to opt for? Please type yes, no, or whatever is your in this Q&A, you can type, are you all going to opt, or are you all going to uh, intend to clear the Microsoft certification exam? Can you please type in the y- your reply so that I'll come to know about this? Okay. So the certification for me, when the discussion was going on, there was a set of topics that we had decided about, was this, that is applying some data formats and validation. So we can use the validation of the data. We can decide to have some drop downs on our lists. So out of these values, someone can select something, and then we can, instead of writing, we can select from the drop down, and then we can pick up a value from the list. Then conditional formatting is something that we have decided to discuss. So it is, when I'm saying that I'm formatting, at that time I apply, like, let's say, a yellow color, black color, blue color to the text, then a bold, italic, underline. This is all nothing but formatting. But this applying formatting, it should be based on the condition. So for example, if the let's say salary of an employee is beyond let's say 15,000, he should be flashed in green color. If the salary is below 15,000, he should be flashed in red color. Or whenever marks of student are below 35, they should be printed in red. Others should be printed in black. So based on the condition, the formatting of the data changes. So with respect to that, basic and advanced, conditional formatting is what we are going to opt for. Then customizing the workbook elements, how to create the workbook, how to change its option with respect to the file, and then how to work with all the tabs inside the file, and prepare a workbook for internationalization. So these are the topics basically. uh, Creating different types of tables. One of these topics I have told you right now, and then I have practically uh, given you a demo of it, and then I have uh, performed step by step of it, and some of the options that we can talk about it in this session. Now, creating formulas, functions, and macros is also one of the important aspects with respect to the certification exam. So creating summaries of the data and using functions. We all know that there are different categories of functions, right? Text-based functions, logical functions, date-related functions, financial functions, statistical functions. So for every category, there is a list of functions, built-in functions provided by um, Excel. So how to use a function, then how to use a help to use a function, and then applying formulas or calculations on the data. Okay. Then formatting or modifying the customize functions. Text, uh, you can change the case of the function, like change case functions are there, upper, proper, lower, etc. You can also make changes to the case of the function. You can change the text of the function. Okay. You can extract a part from the function. You can have a substring of the function. So text-based functionalities are useful whenever you want to have a structured format of the data. Okay. Yes. See, certification exam is that you are going to appear for the exam, and then there will be some. Um, it is like a scenario based exam. Yes, you will get the material. I'm not sure about the recorded sessions, that we will have to check. Okay. Yes. Yes. Sure. Checkboxes can be definitely explained to you. Yes. Correct. The topics are pre-decided, and then maybe if required, what we can do is, yes, I will definitely do that. I'll again tell you to create a table. Yes. So what we can do is, once we have decided that, sorry, we are going to talk about these topics. Okay. Along with this, if we feel like that majority of the participants need a list of these topics to be covered in the class, then yes, we can also include those topics in our course. So what we can do is, each one of us can you know commonly decide about the list of topics which this particular list can also uh, you know be added to. Correct. So right now we have come up with all these sets of topics. So uh, creating and modifying formulas. Then many of us uh, must learn to create charts. Okay, creating different types of charts, and then how to use those charts, how to modify those charts. So creating a chart is kind of a, everyone knows how to create a basic chart, but my options or my charts that I have created, how should I modify them is also important. Like for example, earlier I had taken X and Y field. Now I want X and V field. So I have to remove the first field and add the second field to my chart. Correct. Or right now my column chart is not showing any data labels to it. I want to introduce the data labels, or I want to give the name to my X axis or Y axis, or I want to have a legend appearing in my chart. Correct. Or I want to show only the percentage contribution of pie chart. I don't want to show the values of the pie chart. So changing the format of your chart, changing the what I can say, changing the options with respect to every chart also needs to be known to us. Okay. And most importantly, for what purpose, what type of chart you should use is also one call that every person must take. Like for example, if you want to show a progress over a timeline, you should go for a line chart. If you want to show percentage contribution, go for a column chart. If you want to go for a comparison mode, go for a column chart. Percentage contribution pie chart. Correct. So for multiple purposes, multiple types of charts should be chosen. And of course, there are different types of charts which are called as pivot charts. Right. So regular charts we create on the tables column, and pivot charts are basically not created on table, but they are created on summaries. That is, a pivot table has summary data, and on that summarized information, we create charts. So it's nothing but a pictorial representation of what our data is stored, so that we can look at the picture or the visual or the chart, and immediately we will come to know how my company or organization is behaving in terms of its progress. Correct. Now, with respect to managing workbooks, we can decide about the security of our workbooks or our worksheets. So we can restrict, first of all, basic thing or basic step of restriction is password protection. So yes, we can provide a password protection to either one worksheet, or we can provide it to entire workbook also. Now, when you provide a password, only then you will be able to access that data. But then sometimes you may want to open the workbook, or you may want that user to open a worksheet as well, but a part of the data should not be editable, and a part of the data, one part of the data should be editable. Uh, right now we do not have hour-wise schedule. Okay. So I think most probably it is 25 hours of course that we are going to go through. Okay. So maybe 2 hours per week or something of that sort. Let's see how we can find time. That is not important, but first of all, we have to finalize the list of topics. that we want to learn. Okay, so time duration is can be managed according to your convenience and whenever you can find time for going through the course. Okay, so uh, uh, see, Jagjit Singh, if Python is required for certification course, I don't think so that is there in the course certification syllabus. Yes, this Microsoft certification is globally accepted. It is based upon Microsoft standards of certification. So that shouldn't be a problem. It is got worldwide acceptance. Okay. So see, defining named ranges, lookups and its uh, functionalities. So there are many lookup functions that can be used for searching a specific value. So uh, there is a function called as lookup. There is VLOOKUP, there is HLOOKUP, there is XLOOKUP, there is match. So there are many functions depending upon how you want to look for a specific value in the table. And based on that, you can choose when to use what type of function. So for example, if I am looking for uh, vertical data. So vertical data means data in terms of columns. Then in that case, I should be using VLOOKUP. Okay. But if I want to go for horizontal data, right, wherein I want to look the data in terms of rows, then I should go for HLOOKUP. Correct. So such type of functionalities, if you're in this case from basic to advanced, there are some options like the data may be in the same table or the data may be in the different tables. So we can do lookup between two different tables, or the value that you're looking for is in one worksheet and the data which is present is in another worksheet. Even that is possible. Right. So we have one table called as, let's say, employee master, where all the data related to the employees is there. And there is another table called as employee details, wherein all salary related information is present there, or insurance related information is present there. So you are looking for a value for a specific insurance of employee whose information is in employee master. And these two are in two different Excel worksheets. Still, you can use the lookup there. Okay, so that can be a quite interesting topic to talk about, looking up for values, right? So there are different lookup values that you can apply, and date and time related functionalities. So sometimes I want to know a function, let's say that is what I want to use is basically arithmetics with dates. So you all might be knowing. Ameya, I'm not sure about whether you are going to get the recorded sessions or not, but once we start with the class, by that time I will have an idea about um, what will be the duration of this course. And
Hello,
then,
ma'am.
yes,
Yes, ma'am. Recorded session also available.
okay, fine. So thank you, Sanjay. So we have given this confirmation is that recorded sessions will be available. duration is going to vary depending upon what course, how many topics we are finalizing. Okay. So yes, pivot charts will also be covered in the course. I do conduct official trainings for Power BI course. Okay. So if you want to have, or if you want to get an idea about Power BI, maybe we will have one introductory sessions with respect to Power BI, how to use Power BI, how to get the data, how to create a report, how to publish a report. I can give you an overview about that as well. Okay, Jayaprakash, I will definitely give you an idea about HLOOKUP function if you want. Okay. Uh, First of all, let me complete the list of topics that right now we have decided that we will be conducting for this session. So after this, I will share these topics with you, and then you can take a call of what more topics you want to add to this list of topics. Once you add those many topics to this particular list, then we will get a final list of topics that we want to learn. Okay. And once you get the final list of topics, depending upon that, we can decide the duration of this course. Correct? Yes. So, how to use formulas? Troubleshoot formulas means sometimes, your data is somewhere here, and then maybe on the on some specific cell you have written a formula, and then you are not able to understand from where that value is calculated. So you can take the insights of that particular formula, which will tell you from where these values are coming. Okay. So how to debug your data, or how to debug your calculations, how you test your calculations, it will tell you that as well. Correct? Uh, I think I am able to see everyone's questions here. So yes, Shankar, I will also cover macros, about recording macros. Okay. How to record a macro? There are two aspects of macros. One is recording a macro and using it. Another one is a coding part of macro. So writing a VBA code for it. Okay. So I will be covering recording part of using a macro. So you perform a steps and you record a macro. And once those steps are recorded, later on when you are comparing a macro, or whenever you want to run that macro, all those steps will get applied automatically. So it's just like you used to have tape recorder earlier in our days, right? When you start recording, your voice gets recorded, and when you run that recording, it repeats. That as simple as that. Uh, the exam will be based on all the topics with respect to Microsoft Excel. So the version that we are thinking of right now is 2019. Okay. So for 2019, I'm trying to figure out how we can perform this examination and everything. So I have some information here with respect to that, which I would like to share with you. Yes. So yeah, this is what um, I was looking at 2019. So different examination topics that are given. So manage data and ranges, performing operations by using formulas, and then managing charts, and also managing tables and their respective data. So these are all the topics that we were thinking of, going through. Applying the formatting. Then these are the list of functions like if function, count function, aggregate functions, text based functions. Okay, so these are the text based functions. Getting the data from left, from right, mid function, changing the case of the function, concatenating, that is attaching strings together, then creating charts, modifying charts, adding legends to the charts, changing X and Y uh, columns, X and Y coordinates data. Okay, then applying different layouts to the chart and their accessibility. I have noted your question about are we going to get the uh, exercise, or are we going to get any dummy exams to be solved? Okay, right now I'm not aware about that, but yes, I will definitely convey this question and let you know about are you going to get any dummy exams so that you can solve them before you appear for the final certification exam. Correct? Yes, you are going to uh, get the recordings of the session. The exams will not be based on specific topics. It will be based on all the list of topics with respect to 2019. Okay. Version specific functionalities. If I have it on my machine, I will definitely tell you that this particular function does not work with uh, the previous type of version or 365 type of version, and accordingly you will get an idea. Okay. Yes, definitely. I'll talk about recorded sessions. Yes, I think attendance is required, definitely. Um, See, any certification exam, it's always based on specific scenario. So you have to choose from options. But yes, every time it will not be like true or false type of options. Okay. A scenario will be given to you in front of you. You have to understand that scenario. Some example will be given to you, and based on that example, questions will be asked that I have this data with me. I want to do something like this. So can you tell me how do I do it? Okay. And then based on that, how do I do it? There are multiple options. So you have to choose appropriate option to solve the given requirement. Or sometimes what they do is they will give you a Excel environment inside a question only. Okay. And they will induce Excel environment inside your data or inside your question paper. And then you will be able to solve that question or choose a specific value, choose a specific function, whatever they have asked you to do. And then if you have chosen correct option in that induced environment, then the question will hold correct value. So it's not just like select any three, select any four. Okay, it depends upon if you, what they want to see is for given requirement, are you opting a correct choice or not? If you are opting for correct choice, that means you have understood that concept properly. Correct. So you do not have to type any essay. You do not have to type short answers, long answers. You have to correctly choose the options based on a given scenario. So it will not be a direct question. It will be some used case provided to you. And then you have to understand the requirement and appropriately choose correct solution for it. Okay. I think VBA coding is not required in the exam. Okay. So because this training is specifically certification oriented, so I'm saying that VBA coding has a different requirement. I think macro recording is the part of this, not the coding part. Okay, so what I will do is I will give you an idea about. Uh, s- uh, I could see that many people right now wanted to discuss about the topics. So we have talked about creating charts, then modifying charts, then using pivot tables and creating pivot charts. So basically, I'll be talking about how to create pivot tables. So all of us, we might have used Rubik's Cube at least once in our life. We have played with it, right? So the colors are same, blue, green, yellow, white. And then what you do is you roll the cube, isn't it? In the same fashion in Excel, the table is same, rows and columns. But you make a combination of these rows and columns to get different results every time you change the combination. So what is difference between a regular table and a pivot table? The difference between regular table and pivot table is basically regular table, it talks about record by record information, and pivot table, it talks about summarized information. Okay, that means total of salary, count of how many products sold, or average of the sale per month, right? So here the columns and the rows, they work on the summary information and not one by one record information. So we will see many combinations with respect to pivoting charts. That means on one column or on multiple column or only one row and not on the column, or applying filters to pivot tables, right? Or having multiple column, multiple layer pivot tables. So there are different probabilities of using simple to advanced pivot tables. And then we can create charts. Those charts are created on summaries information that is based on the pivot table. Okay. So we will be learning to do that as well. So as of now, you can have a look at this particular. I will try to share this again with everyone. Okay. And then right now, what we have decided for our discussion is this syllabus. So there are 7 topics that we have talked about till creating charts, with depending upon our requirement with respect to certification, there can be addition or deletion of these topics, or there could be addition of a few more topics. Okay, so we need to contribute, each one of us, we need to contribute to add the topics into one file, and then we will shortlist those topics and we will create a final product which will have a list of all the topics that majority of the employees or majority of the people want to talk about and get and learn about. Okay. I hope there are no new messages right now. Yes, these exams, they vary from version to version, and the requirement that Vincis has received is with respect to 2019. Okay, so our focus will be based on 2019. Okay, so basically Power Query is for transformation of the data, cleaning the data before we use it. So we need to remove additional spaces. We need to remove the duplicate records. We need to filter the information. So before we load that information, we need to transform it using Power Query. And the Power Query is one which uses the mashup language, and wherein when you apply these transformations, then you can load the data. This Power Query is also available in the other Microsoft tools, like it is also available in Power BI. Okay, same Power Query. There is a Power Query editor wherein you can uh, use the transformations and then you can apply those transformations. Okay, I'm trying to note down what are all the requirements with respect to this particular training. Whatever syllabus that was given, I think this was the one that was shared with everyone. There were 7 points and then each sub point for every points, isn't it? Yes, Deepak, it is I mean, it all depends upon everyone's convenience. We can do that. See, course timing, it is altogether a different thing. We can definitely decide. We can take the majority. If everyone is comfortable in the morning, I can also come at in the morning and uh, do this, finish it in the morning, no problem. So that we can keep open, right? Our first criteria or our first intention is, um, let's fix it. Let's fix the list of topics, right? So maybe I will again, uh, what I can say, I will redesign this syllabus with respect to the certification, and then I will again send it to you. You can also give me input based on those topics, and then we will confirm all the list of topics. And then with respect to all those list of topics, I will have to decide how much time is taken to cover these topics, right? Is that okay? Sanjeev, What do you think?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, should we do like this?
Hello.
Yeah. So what I was saying is,
Mm.
um, uh, I want everyone, see, there are many participants who want to have some more topics added to this course.
Okay, ma'am. So some students, uh, you can say, student participants are sent one email. Okay,
Ha, yes, correct.
then we can get the topic, and
Yes,
we are talk our advanced studies HOD.
exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
ma'am. Then
Yes,
we can decided that some
yes,
topics are added or some topics are deleted from
correct,
uh, our schedules by our topics. Okay,
correct.
then we can decide it.
Definitely,
Okay,
definitely.
definitely, ma'am.
Yes. So what I will do,
Mm-hmm.
I will also send a final list from my side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that will
Okay.
go from my side. Then you
Mm-hmm.
will send a list from your side. We will
Mm-hmm.
combine both of them, and then we will come up with a final content structure. And according to that, we can decide the duration.
Okay. Okay.
है ना? So
Yes.
I
Yes.
think that sounds better, because then it should not happen that I am just talking and I am taking my own topics and the
Mm-hmm.
participants want some different topics. That should not happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So participants are you are send the email to our email ID
Yes.
advstudies@icmi.in. Then we can receive the topic. Then we can contact our
Yes.
HOD, and then we
Yes.
can decide it the,
Exactly.
the topic
Exactly. Yes.
for finalize.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
So and further any question from
I don't see any
because
more
here
questions
we
from here.
notify by the yes.
Yes, Vivek, we also have to have basic of Power BI, but that doesn't include in the Power BI, sorry, Excel certification. Uh, you can share a mail to uh, your own department, and then they will float it to me. You can share it with your organization. They will share it with me. Okay. Yes, Sanjeev. So, uh, should we continue this discussion?
Yes, ma'am. Please you continue the this is the 6 p.m. is the
Huh.
webinar session 4
Yes.
to 6 p.m. Okay.
So what I
So
will do,
some Mhm.
I will cover some topics now.
Yes, ma'am. Some covers your topics. Okay, 2 or 3
Yes.
topics, and then we can finish the webinar.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. So, someone has requested me to again um find out, or again repeat with respect to the table. So I am going to repeat with respect to table. So let's say I have some data here with me. Yes. Suppose I have some data here with me, and I will copy this data right now. I'll place it here. Okay. Okay, so I have this data with me. Now I want to create a table out of it. Okay, so you can select it and you can go to insert, and then there is this option called as table. Okay, so you can create a table, or there is a shortcut key called as control T, right? So it will identify the headers that you have for your table. And when you click on OK, then your table will get created with respect to the data that you have. And it will also have the filters applied to it. With the help of the filters, you can sort your data. You can have the filtration criteria, like your data is ending with what, containing what amount, and then the values with respect to which you can filter your information. Also, you can add a new record to the current table. Let's say I want to add a new record here, saying maybe I will add. Okay, and then the amount is, let's say, 90. Fine. So this is how you can keep on adding records to the table, and it will keep on extending. Now, whatever table that you have, to this you can have a total row also. So when I click on this total, it will give me the amounts total. And total is by default the heading that comes. If you want to change it, you can change the aggregation to whatever function you want. Like instead of total, I want to have an average. So I will take an average for it, right? Or here, if I want to take a count of products, then I can say count of it. So total is count, correct? So this way you can uncheck this box and then the summation will go, right? Now you can give a name to this table. On the right left hand corner, you can see the name. By default, table 1 is the name. So I will give here a new name, fruits, and press enter. So now my table can be referred with a name called as fruits. Now tomorrow, suppose I want to use a chart. So if I go to the insert chart, okay, let's say I'm using this chart. For taking a chart, now I can take a help of fruits. And based on fruits, I can create a chart here. It might take some time here for my table, which is okay. But based on this particular value, it will take the chart. So wherever I am, I can always refer to fruits and it knows which table I'm using. Correct? So a named range gets created for it. And then in the table design, a new option will get created. And then you can change whatever data or the appearance that you want to change. You can add a row, you can have banded columns and rows. It depends upon your requirement. Okay. So that was kind of formatting that you can apply to it. And then, yes, someone was asking me about, please talk with respect to some if, count if functionalities. Okay, so let me just give you an idea about it. When I'm using this sum function, okay, I do not have any option but to sum all of the data, right? So when I'm using sum, it is based on all data in a specific column, correct? All data in a specific column. So if there are 10,000 records in 10,000 values in a column, then the sum will get applied on all 10,000 data or 10,000 values. But sometimes what we want to have is sum if. So what is this sum if function is, it will also find a total of all the column. but it will not consider all the values. So total of all column values, which is based on a condition, right? So now this sum is based on condition. Wherever my condition is true, only for that specific data it will calculate the sum. Otherwise, it won't calculate the sum. Okay. So you can have a look at this example that I have. I have decided to do a few things here. See, for example, I'm going to use a shortcut key and to find the sum for all. Okay. So when I click on the cell that I'm looking for, I'm trying to look for a cell here. Okay. And then if I press this particular thing, alt equal to is the shortcut key for it. For what? It is for auto sum. So it will automatically sum all the values which are in continuous range. If I don't want to use this alt equal to, then I can place my active cell at the bottom end, and then in home there is this auto sum option wherein I can go for it. It automatically sums all the data. So 170 becomes the value. Now, if this value is horizontal, still I will be able to find that data. So for example, if my data is like this, January, February, March, April, if it is like this, okay, and then I have 200, 500, 590, whatever data. Huh. Now if I use alt equal to here, or if I use some AutoSum function, then you can see that it also works horizontally. So either you can work it for a column in vertical way, or you can work it for a row in horizontal way. Both ways AutoSum will work properly. Okay. Now suppose I want to use AutoSum here. When I'm using AutoSum, obviously it is throwing whatever is the data, it will sum up all these values. But sometimes I don't want to use sum. So in that case, instead of auto sum, I can have auto average, auto max, auto mean, auto count. So multiple aggregations that I want to use other than sum function. So here I will use auto average. Correct. So average function will get applied in this particular thing case. Now I'm going to use for this which function I have used. I have used sum. Now I'm not going to use sum function here. Please see my requirement that I want to use. Now instead of sum, I am going to use sum if function. So my requirement is I don't want to find out the total of all of these. I want to find out the total of only those products who are sold whose amount is more than or equal to 50. Correct? So I will have my particular active cell selected here. Either I can type a formula or I can insert a formula. Correct? So this time I will choose to insert a formula here. I'm using SUMIF. Now what values it is asking me for? It is asking me for the range which I need to provide. So my range is about these values. Okay. Then my criteria that I want to provide. So what is my criteria? Greater than or equal to 50 is my criteria. And my sum range is this. Correct. So how many? 100 plus 150, 150 plus 50, 200. So correct. 200 is the amount of all the items which are greater than or equal to 50, right? Otherwise, if I would have summed everything, it would have been more than 200 definitely, right? So now I am talking about the criteria based sum functions, correct? Or for example, here I can say I want to list only those who are uh, more than or less than 50. So again, I will do the same thing. I will have to go for a sum if function wherein, oh, okay, this time we will use countif function. So if I say only count, okay, we will go to auto count, count numbers. How many values I'm getting? I'm getting here values which are 5, correct? But now I don't want 5 overall count. I want to count only those products whose amount is less than 50. Okay. So now instead of count, we will use countif, right? So why I'm using this function manager window? Because I want you to understand what all criterias we can give. So in which range am I looking for these values? So right now I will consider right now I'll consider this range. And then what is my criteria? My criteria here is about value less than 50, correct? So there are the count. This time it is not giving me count as 5. This time it is giving me count as 2 because there are two specific products, cookies and pies. They are less than 50. So right now we have seen sum if, count if, but other than that, there are other functions with respect to this sum and sum count if. That is, there is something called as sum ifs, plural, okay, or there is something count as count ifs. So what these functions, how they are different than sumif and countif? That is, they are based on multiple criterias, isn't it? So right now we used only one criteria. What was our criteria? That amount has to be less than 50 or greater than 50, isn't it? But maybe my requirement is I want to find out all those items who are cookies and means their category is cookies and their amount is less than 50, right? So now my criteria, there are multiple criterias based on which I am counting my data. Getting my point? So I will give you a real life example wherein I want to count such people who are in rural area and using postpaid uh, plan for recharging, let's say, mm, BSNL networks information or BSNL networks application, right? So now there are three criterias involved in it: area, rural, bill payment, postpaid plan, and the company BSNL. Such customers, I want to find their count. So my count is based on multiple criteria here, right? In such cases, I can go for count ifs, right? I hope uh, you have understood this. Yes. See, whenever any Excel training starts, it starts with some um, introduction part, not introductory part. I'm saying it starts with some recap of whatever functionality that you have already learned, and then we go deep diving into the new topics with respect to every topic. So it may happen, let's say you have learned conditional formatting, but you may not have learned all the options of conditional formatting. That becomes the advanced part. But I have to make sure that you know conditional formatting first before we learn the advanced conditional formatting part, right? So that way I'm talking about it. So yes, this will not be a basic introductory Excel session, definitely. Yes, the topics have to be with respect to the certification exam only. Other than that, if any topics are, if you request some topics, that will be, that may or may not come in the exam. See, but basically, our intention is to clear that particular examination first. So we have to be uh, sure about what all topics we are going to first confirm. Okay. So confirming topics is one important aspect before we start the training. I have got some list here. I was going through this uh, Q&A, and then I received some of the list of topics which I may would like to copy paste with me so that I will also have it with me. Yes, I think I'm receiving this from, I do not know the name, but yes, I will definitely uh, this part B. I have received part B. I will copy this part B part, and then I will save it with me so that I can also include it. Okay. Yes, if you want to have text-based summit, then definitely in the criteria range, you will have to give that particular criteria. Okay. Criteria is, let's say, I want to look or I want to add only postpaid plans. Okay. So postpaid plans can be a criteria for you. So you can give that in the criteria range, and some range will be the value that you want to sum up. So some range will be numbers and criteria range will be text. Okay, fine. I will also visit this particular link that has been given to me, right? And then I will also come up with my own plan with respect to that. And then we also need to figure out how much time we need to give for all these topics, depending upon the topic list, right? Because we don't want to hurry up and cover just all the topics just for the sake of completing the course. Fine. Thank you for sharing the link. Yes, Sanjeev, that is from my side.
Yes, ma'am.
If you
Okay.
want to add anything else.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. It is not required. Okay, ma'am. So
Yes,
we are finished the today webinar. Okay, ma'am.
yes, yes. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.